What is up? So I wanted to make this video to kind of help some people that maybe have Honda Civics that are running into this issue. And I've seen lots of forums where people talk about this issue, and that is pulsating lights, especially pulsating lights like your headlights, your dash lights. Definitely the dome light will pulsate. The tail lights will pulsate. And a lot of times when you have that pulsation going on, you know, you'll see even the engine will feel like as you're driving, the engine feels like it's pulsing, like the whole car is pulsing while you're driving. And a lot of times people will say, it'll come and go. It doesn't happen all the time. Now, if it's happening all the time, probably your easy fix, or the most easy fix, the Honda Civic that I just bought had pulsating lights, but it pulsated the whole time. So I immediately thought, okay, it's either the battery or the alternator for that situation. And it's most likely the alternator. So I bought the car anyway because I was like, hey, it can only be a handful of things and I can find it. It's just a wiring problem. So tested my car, it definitely was the alternator. So I need a new alternator. Not a big deal. But for other people, there may be other things. So we're going to kind of go through possible causes for pulsating lights in Honda Civics. Now this is a common thing through 92 through 2000, and apparently other people have seen it in other Honda vehicles, newer ones. But this is predominantly for the older Hondas from the years that I'm talking about. So you'll see it a lot in D series engines also. So let's go through some of this. So first thing you want to check is the alternator and the battery. You can go to AutoZone and have them test it. That's where I went have mine tested. They'll do it for free, and they'll tell you if it's the battery or alternator. And so if that checks out to be good, though, could be a number of other things. One thing you want to do is check for your ground, like the engine ground wire. Check that engine ground wire. Make sure that all your grounds are nice and tight. You may also want to check the battery positive and negative terminal. Like the terminals or the wire inside could be frayed and could be just touching, and then causing the system to go haywire. That can cause pulsating too. But definitely those are the first things you want to check. I would check those two things first. As long as those two things are cool, then you want to move on to checking the alternator speed sensor fuse, which is in the car under the dash. It is fuse 15. It is a 7.5 amp fuse. So if you find that fuse in there, pull it out, see if it's burnt out, replace it, crank the car up, see if it pulsates, and then drive it around a little bit, pull it back out, and check and see if it's burnt. If it's burnt, then we're going to have to figure out what's going on. Other than that, that will be where we have to look into other wiring problems. One of the most common things with Hondas, especially the D series engines, because of the way the intake manifold is mounted on these engines, the wiring harness behind there, a lot of times if it's not basically wrapped really good, the wires will actually rub against the back of the motor, and it will actually rub the shielding off, and that's a really common problem. People find that a lot. So that's another thing you want to check, is go back behind the motor, kind of check those wires, make sure there's not a break in it. If there is, just wrap it in electrical tape, wrap them up really good, and then it should go away. But that's definitely like a big thing. A lot of times that's it, especially with the D series motors, and especially within the years of 92 through 2000. So those are common things. And another thing you could look for is your voltage regulator might be bad. So you could test that and see if that's bad, and then replace that. It could be that. And then there is the ELD, which is the electronic load detector unit. That could have gone bad too. So you have to check that. and maybe replace that. Those are the main causes that I know of, and doing research on Hondas and trying to figure out problems. Most likely, in my case, it's always been something with either a ground or like shielding rubbed off. Luckily, with this new Honda, it was just the alternator, so it's not a big deal. But yeah, those are definitely causes. I will put those causes below, and you can kind of look them up. Now, if you own a Honda and you figure out a different cause, please add it below so that other people can see it and read, and they can figure out their own issue. So I hope this helps somebody. You guys take it easy. Peace out.